Well, it maybe sounds like a strange name, but it's if you drop the A, you have Awingu left. And it's actually the Swahilian word for cloud. So you know where it's coming from. So we are everything about cloud. We are a cloud solution. And I will take you through some slides, but the main goal is to show you some live demo in order that you can better understand what our solution is about. So just only one slide, I promise, on the company. We exist still since 6 years. We have a lot of capital already raised. We have a mix of investors, which is actually good. And we have close relationship with hardware vendors or software vendors like Microsoft, IBM on the software side, Samsung, HP on the hardware side. We are headquartered in Ghent, Belgium, and we have offices in the meantime a little bit all over the world, mainly in the US, but also we started now in London. We are opening offices in Germany. So in the big markets, we are opening offices. And for the Nordic region, we have chosen to work together with Also as an exclusive distributor, supported by Olga, who is also in the call, which actually is our business development manager for the region, so for all Nordic countries, all Baltic countries, and Poland. And she's also able to support you on your local territory for any questions or support you need. The reason why we have chosen Also is because Also is, let's say, as a distributor, the most experienced and the most advanced with the cloud marketplace. You can deploy Awingu from the cloud marketplace since 1st of September, and I will get back to you later on after the live demo. So introducing Awingu, what is it about? Well, just to keep it short, we are a workspace aggregator. So you could see us some kind as a gateway towards, let's say, the HTML5 web page, where actually we will try to give you via a web page all kind of access to your applications and to your files, all in the same workspace. And our workspace is not a VDI solution, so our workspace will adapt itself following the form factor on which device you're using. So the advantage is you can run actually Awingu on any device, on any platform, on any operating system, as long as you have a browser which supports HTML5. And the good news is that all recent browsers, as for instance Chrome, Internet Explorer, Edge, Firefox, Safari, they all on this Opera, they all on, of course, support that HTML5 language. So it's a secure solution. Why? Because actually, as we run everything through a browser window, we are not streaming data, we are streaming images. So it's just, our software is just a gateway from an existing, let's say, Microsoft backend towards an outside world, which is typically then a browser. That's a very secure way, because if you close down the browser, well, there's no data left on the device you're working on. So that's also, let's say, a nightmare for IT managers or CIOs. Who is accessing my data at what point in time, from which IP address, on which device, and you don't know what's happening actually with your data from your company. So in that sense, we are a very secure solution, because we don't allow actually to store data on local device. The only thing, of course, you need is a connectivity. So you need to be connected to be able to work. That's also a disadvantage, of course, that you actually you need to be connected, because you're actually getting access to your backend live, a live stream, and you cannot actually store data on a local machine. So another issue, what we often confronted with, of course, the mobile workforce is increasing heavily. Certainly, people want to be more flexible. They don't want to get stuck in traffic. They might want to be at home in Wednesday afternoon for the kids, so they want to be able to work from home or for any other place. So that mobile workforce is increasing, and it's a reality. So companies who are obliging actually their employees to be at the office from 9 to 5, well, they are having troubles actually with HR to, let's say, convince those employees to work only from the office. The second point, what we see is that although all kind of cloud and SaaS applications already exist, there's still a lot of legacy running around. So there's still a lot of legacy applications like ERM packages, CRM, bookkeeping programs, name it, SAP, Navision, all this kind of stuff, which are hardly cloudified or hardly SaaSified. So also there we try to find a solution. So I already explained that actually your workspace will adapt itself following the form factor, so you can run it from a PC, for instance, from a tablet, or even from a smartphone if you want. So how does it work? This is the only schematic overview I have, and then afterwards we go to live demo. So to the left, actually, you see what you need. I already explained, you need browser and you need device. It doesn't matter which one. On the right side, typically, we will connect through an existing backend, which can exist from a Microsoft Active Directory, which will have probably legacy applications. You can run connect desktops one-to-one, and we also integrate your web and your SaaS applications into the same workspace, all together in one. The big advantage is for as an end user, it's very transparent. You don't know where the software is running, but it's there. The reason why we put SaaS applications also in there, first of all, there's no hassle because it's single sign-on. Secondly, and that you see in the middle, we have a lot of control and auditing functions available. So actually you can see, for instance, who is running your Outlook 365 at any point in time. You can see and track and trace that. Next to the application part, you see in the right lower corner, we also will connect to your typical network drives, your file servers, and if already there, also your cloud storage. You can integrate them seamlessly into the same workspace. In the middle, you see Awingu. Well, where can you run Awingu? Well, you can run it on any VM, and can be on premise, can be in the cloud, or can even be in a hybrid model. So you can actually scale it up. For instance, you can run it on premise and scale it up via Azure. Next to that, you have some sharing collaboration tools. I will get back to that from the live demo. Just one more slide before we go there. This is actually, as you will see through the demo, it's a unique web link, which is demo.awingu.com. You can have the same access as me as you go to awingu.com and just fill in the form. You can have access to the same demo environment for at least 15 days, and you can extend it later on, but then actually you can play around with it yourself and try it out. As you will see, the demo environment, it only uses, for practical reasons, a username and password. But of course, that's not really secure, so we also integrate all kind of MFA solutions. For free is the one-time password built in. That's a Google Authenticator, so you need actually an application on your smartphone that you configure once. It will generate a unique code that you need to fill in as an MFA. But of course, if customers are already invested in other kinds of MFAs like Radius, compliant stuff like SMS passcode, like generic connector, RSA and stuff like that, we also support it. SMS passcode is there due to security and Azure MFA. So this is, can be built in and just be activated. And if a customer already invested in this kind of solution, we can reuse it. So there's no extra investment to make. So let me maybe go through a live demo, and I need someone who confirms me that actually he sees that browser screen here.
Yeah, yes, we can see it.
You can see it, okay. So actually now I went to Chrome browser, and here I have my credentials. So this is for time still being in Flemish, but it will switch to English. So actually, if I arrive in my workspace, I see my most used applications in my most recent files, and you have both separate. Here actually you will have all your network drives and all your files, and here actually you will have all your applications. Now the user rights are mostly defined in your Active Directory. So if you have an Active Directory which is really up to date, you can just copy paste actually your user rights within your Awingu environment. So each and every time you log in into your Awingu environment, it will check your AD. On top of that, of course, and I will show you later on, we can also define other user rights within the Awingu environment. So maybe let's first go to that one. So here, actually, you can change the account settings. So we can change the keyboard layout if you want to do so. You can also change the language. So even, I think, Norsk is there. So you can actually change it also to your language. I will not do it, otherwise I won't understand a word of it. And you can even enable a guided tour for first-time users. And actually, here is your Control-Alt-Delete function, where you can actually change your Windows password. The keyboard layout, it will automatically use the keyboard from your device, but if you can actually change it here, and you can push another keyboard if you want. Second thing is a browser check. Actually, what it will do is check whether Awingu can run on your current browser. It's all green except for those two ones. So actually the most important one is that you have WebSocket technology. And here I have two unsupported functions, which actually is smart card, and I don't have a touch device. That's of course not stopping me from working. And to be complete, actually, of course, you can log out, and the V is the first name of my name. So let me go back first to the workspace. Here you see the most used applications and most recent files, but as an administrator, you can also push some applications over there, or push, for instance, some templates over here. This is possible. Let me go through the files part first. So here in the folders, you will typically find back all your drives from D until Z, and eventually also your OneDrive, etc., and your cloud storage. It's a one-time, of course, definition what you want to put there, and it's like it has a look and feel actually of your Windows environment. And if you like more the icon view or the list view, you can just switch it here. And if, of course, you click on a file, well, it will open up the associated program. It will start, in this case, an Excel session. So now you have your Excel running into your browser window. And the thing you see popping up here, in which you can move around, is actually your Awingu engine. It has some functionalities. First of all, you can go back to the home screen. You can see your number of active sessions, which is actually this one. It's just an Excel. And it has third possibility, which is this one. I can close this session. I can put it in full screen. Then you don't have the browser window anymore, so that's easier to work in. You can open it up in a new session, meaning that you can open up more sessions, more browser windows, so you are able, if you're, for instance, working from a desktop, you can put, for instance, an Excel session to the left monitor and a PowerPoint session to the right monitor. And there's third functionality, first functionality, which is actually share session. If I click on this one, it actually generates a unique web link, which I can copy paste in a mail, for instance, and send it out. Allow me, for instance, to open up an Opera browser here, and imagine I am the receiver of that famous link. So I can copy paste that link in another window, for instance, and you will see that I actually be able to join in that session. I will put another name. And actually, in this case now, imagine that I'm Olga, I will be able to join in that same Excel session. So that's some team viewer capacity, which actually we built in also in our solution. You can configure that actually one person at a time has control in that session. You can put it in everyone mode. You can even put an extra session key if you want as protection. So in the meantime, for instance, and this is, I will get back first to the file part. Once I have done those sharing those sessions, actually I can follow up. I can follow them up here. Okay. And now there's also the right mouse button function, which of course doesn't work in Android and doesn't work in iOS. We replaced it by this little circle. If you click on it, actually you will be able to do some more functionalities here. So in this case, I will be able to select this file. I can open it up with another program. I can delete it, copy it, move it, rename it. I can check the properties. And I want to highlight actually two functions. First of all, this is download function. This is a function which will be often deactivated by your administrator, because this actually will allow you to, in this case, download that Excel file to your local device, which is, of course, very contradictory to what I said in my opening speech, that you're not able to store documents. But for instance, in exceptions, you can say this person, whenever he is at the office, he may download the file to his local device. But whenever he's outside the office and he's working on a public Wi-Fi, for instance, that download function will be disabled. These are user rights you cannot define within an Active Directory environment, but you can define them within Awingu. But of course, for security reasons, this function will often be deactivated anyhow. There's a second functionality, which is share. It's more similar to what I did with the application session sharing. Actually, you can give it the name here. You can need to put a unique name. You can put a description. You can put an expiration date, expiration time. And if I click, for instance, on share, it will again create a unique web link, which I can send out for instance, by email. The receiver, if he clicks on it, he will be able to see that document. This is actually just a link towards that document. We are not sending out the document. It's not a WeTransfer where we actually encrypt the document and send it out. It's just a temporary link towards the document which remains on the backend of the customer. So if I go to the properties, for instance, and I say share, I can also put that, for instance, in preview mode. The receiver will only see that document which he receives, the link. He will see it only as a PDF. If you put it in download mode, you will be able to actually download the Excel file in this case. If you put it in internal use, this means you need to be in Awingu, part of the Awingu community. If you put it in public mode, then you can send it out to who you want. Again, those two will often be deactivated by your administrator for security reasons. But for instance, you can share in a very secure way in a preview mode and internal use. You can share just documents, just linking towards the document on your backend. And actually, once you've done that, actually, as I already said, you can follow up those shares here. You can see what I have shared, my public shares, my internal shares, and my expired shares. So that's the file part. Let me move to the application part. Here you see them all. This is actually a mix of applications which you have put in the demo environment. Just to give you an idea, this is an AS400 terminal, which is physically in Germany. This is an ISV called BOP50. That's a bookkeeping software. It's a legacy. It's a 32-bit application. We have some desktops which we have virtualized here. We have an older ISV here. We have some SaaS applications. We have a browser, which might seem strange, but for instance, we have browse in the browser. Well, a use case here is, for instance, you can access an old intranet via an old browser into a new browser. That's a use case. So just to let me give you an idea. If I start up the AS400 session here, it's really a nostalgic view for some of you. But now imagine I cannot, of course, show you that webinar, but I would go to my Samsung Android tablet. I would be able to take over that session and run actually an AS400 on my tablet, or take it over on an iOS machine. Okay. So now I should, if everything goes well, I should have 2 active sessions. This is still my Excel and my AS400, and I can easily switch from session by clicking on it or by just touching it if you have a touch device. Actually, there's a fourth functionality popping up here, as this is really old legacy applications. Well, it's on the Windows machine, you still have the function keys, but they will not be available, of course, on your Android device, on your iOS. So here, actually, you can define, and it's hidden a little bit here, but you can define actually other function keys. So you can pop them up here. So also you can use it in other OS than Microsoft. You can fully use your applications if you want. For instance, we can take over full desktops. Then you have desktop and a desktop. This might be confusing, so it's easier when you, for instance, put it full screen, and you will actually be able to work on your desktop as you would do from your at the office. Other examples, as I showed you, the Firefox, for instance, browse in a browser. You can actually start a browser within a Google Chrome browser in this case. So also there, you can, for instance, as from here, you can access your local intranet. This, for instance, is an ISV. This is a real case where actually BOP50, it's bookkeeping software. Their biggest competitor, they had a cloud version of the software. BOP50 was not ready, and they got in trouble because they didn't have a SaaSified version. So actually, we just give access now to a browser to their software, and you can continue to run it on any platform. And actually, they don't have to go through that workspace, etc. So there's their unique web link is sage.awingu.com. And you will see there can actually log in directly into the software, single sign-on, and actually it's the same software running in their environment with their look and feel. As you can see, they calls changed it. Also the logo changed, and they only have that that one application published. So while I'm here, I will show you another possibility. Those who are used to working with Citrix, we also have the possibility to print on a local device, meaning that actually here you can still print to, for instance, your network drives, but you also be able to, let's say, redirect that that document to an Awingu printer. And if I print now, actually it will print on a local machine. The use case is there that, for instance, you're in a hotel lobby on the other side of the world, you have a printer connected to that PC in the lobby, or you just go to a session, and you can actually print your documents on that local machine, which is also an advantage. We are printing in the front office and not in the back office. That gives you, I guess, an idea of what we're able to. You can put them here in categories. Maybe just for those who are a little bit more technical, and you won't have access if you have the same account, access to the demo account, you won't have access to this one and to the system management console. First, get to talk a little bit more about the dashboard. This is for administrators only. You have a lot of insights here which you can generate. This is the control and all functions I was previously mentioning. Here in this case, actually, Awingu, you see it has been installed on 2 VMs. Actually, your demo environment is running in Azure. The reason why we do so is, well, the load balancing is happening within those 2 VMs in this case. Actually, you can configure 1 VM for 100 concurrent users, and you need like a 8 GB machine, 8 CPU, and actually the load balancing will happen within those machines. You can even configure more of them. You can configure 4 of them, and the load balancing actually will happen. You have actually, you can see, I can have an view on my applications overview. I can generate some basic statistics here. For instance, who has been using AS400 the last 3 months. It's real time, it's Kibana as an engine who will go and check. You can check your sessions. This are just examples of reports. You can see the named users who were actually checking, working in those applications. You can audit, for instance, who was sharing applications. You can make another query, you can export that data to a CSV. You can see actually the IP address from which point in time. There's all kind of data is available. There's some anomaly detection. For instance, I would log in the same moment in Belgium and in Norway, it would generate, it will still work, but it would generate an anomaly report and will be triggered here. We can actually see who was using at what point in time, all kind of at the user level, which kind of data. You can optimize your licenses. For instance, you can see if you have enough of RDP sessions, you can see whether you have enough of a Awingu license, because we have a concurrent license model, so it can fluctuate. So this is all data which actually an IT administrator can use. He can actually, with one click, also make his own reports. So thanks to this one, he can, for instance, create all kinds of automatic reports in chart form, etc., on a daily basis. So he doesn't need to go through that CSV part. He can actually create them directly here on the spot and, of course, on demand. If we go through the system management console, actually I will be able to change the backend. So first, maybe to give you an idea, we have in one environment, on those 2 VMs, actually we created 7 tenants. So as you can see, actually we are multi-tenant, we support multi-tenancy directly in our solution. And as you have seen, the Sage one, which I showed you before, is actually a subtenant from our demo environment. We also have our own environment, own working environment at Awingu, which is here. We have even made one for HP. So actually, if you change it, you will be able also to change the branding by environment. So here you can do that, and you can actually put each subtenant in his own look and feel with his own applications and its own, of course, network drives. The reason why we do so, because one Awingu license contains as a minimum 20 concurrent users. That might be for small users, small customers, a little bit too much. So actually, you as a reseller, you can buy one license and split it out over multi-tenant. So as a reseller, you will be the holder of the subtenant, of the top tenant, and actually each and every subtenant will be able to create his own and adapt his own environment. So for instance, if we go here, you can actually also, of course, manage the applications, your drives, your labels here. We will not go through that in detail. If you want, we can have a more technical session afterwards with our CCO. But just to give you any how easy it is to manage, for instance, applications. Actually here I can easily remove or add them. If I click on this one, it's gone. If you want to add applications, you can import them from file if you have a listing from your application service. If not, you can add them manually. So you can put here a name, a description. You can choose your own icon. And this is, of course, an obliged one. You need to choose the protocol. So we support remote app or RDP, and of course also SaaS, which is web application. As you might have heard, Azure Remote App has stopped service from Microsoft by end of August. So also here we are, of course, a good alternative to replace Azure Remote App. And you can, of course, once done, you can actually pretty easy add that application. You can associate other kinds of media types. You can add other user labels. For instance, here you could say, I will publish SAP, and in your Active Directory, everybody can access SAP. Here, for instance, you could say, if you're working on any other device, which is not on your desktop at the office, you can, for instance, only give access to finance people, just for security reasons. But this is just a very quick overview of the backend. We will not stick any longer here. If you want to really have more info, I would like to invite you for a separate call where actually we will go through that backend in real detail, and you will actually see how easy it is to configure Awingu. Maybe still, when we are in a browser, I can give you an idea how easy you can deploy Awingu. We are available, as I already said, on Azure as an all-in-one solution. So you don't need to know all ins and outs of Awingu. You can just click on the button, get it now, and it will configure a test environment for yourself, on which you can add your own applications and your own file servers. There are 2 freemium licenses built in, so you can play around with 2 licenses before you go to production environment. We're also, of course, available on the also cloud marketplace. Then you can deploy this also just with a, let's say, subscription model license. And I will get back to that a little bit later on, which are the 3 possible license types which we have. If you want to go to, let's say, run it on-prem, well, you can also go to download.awingu.com, and here you have the latest versions. And following what you have as a VM, you can actually configure it on, for instance, a Hyper-V, KVM, ESX. It doesn't really matter. We have the appliances for everything available. So this is the demo part. Let me maybe go back to the presentation. So what makes Awingu unique? Well, I guess it's one workspace where everything is together within intuitive usage, meaning that actually as an end user, it's not really a complicated environment. It's really very simple. We have the application session sharing, which I showed you. We have the strong MFA, which we can build in. We have the usage inside and the backend. For SaaS, single sign-on anyway. We support printing. I can't show you the smart card support, but for countries who have EID, we can give access to a local USB port to read out, for instance, a smart card. And we have multi-tenancy, where you can actually customize your environment per tenant. I already explained the intuitive part. It's easy to deploy. I tried to show it to you. If you go to Azure all in 4 minutes, it's leveraging investments. That's a really important one. You can actually leave a backend as is. if a customer has already moved part of it to the cloud, but also still using legacy applications on an old server, combined eventually with new servers, well, you can combine everything. You just leave your backend as is and you put Awingu as a sauce on top of it. That also means you have a low TCO, because as you will see later on, the cost of Awingu is not huge. But you don't have to change anything in the backend, and you don't have to configure front-end machines. You don't have to install VPN clients, all kind of Citrix receivers. You just need a browser point. There's nothing to install. So use cases, I will be fast on this one because we already went through them, I guess. So it's bring your own device strategy, contract management. So instead of giving a contractor access directly to your systems and put someone next to it who follows it up all day long, well, you just share a session to that contractor and let them work in that session. You can actually also record that session. So as afterwards, you can actually easily follow up what he has done in your systems. In the evening, he just shuts down his browser and you're sure he didn't left with company data. It can be an interim solution for companies who underwent a merger and acquisition. So if we give employees from group company A directly access to the systems of company B and vice versa. It's a way to control your shadow IT. Just give you the example of WeTransfer. Well, we have actually the file sharing session here. And I think the biggest argument is legacy. You can run legacy applications on any device. Some customer reference, well, the Belgian police, their customers, they use Awingu as a unique solution. They have an old intranet from where they can access all kind of applications. Well, that old intranet is they're just running in the browser from Awingu on in a very secure way. We have Amadeus, we have Proximus, we have a lot of local gov use case also. There's legacy. We have Imelda, important one though. We have a lot of customers which are hospitals for two reasons actually. A lot of let's say healthcare professionals, they want to access patient data from a distance. Often they're not allowed because of all kind of regulations. Well, we are EPLAC compliant and we are also GDPR compliant. So actually now professionals, they can access their patient data from a distance from, for instance, their own consultancy at home. And at least they can consult the patient data from the hospital. We can, of course, as I already said, host smaller businesses below 20 seats as we support multi-tenancy. So that shouldn't be a blocking factor. I promised you to come back on the Microsoft relation. So we are actually part of their executive board, meaning that we are sharing our roadmaps. So where Microsoft stops development, we come in, and vice versa. I give you the example of the Azure Remote app, which stopped service end of August. Well, this is also, if you go to the alternatives that Microsoft is proposing, you will see Awingu. And just to give you an idea, this was last year at the partner conference, the worldwide partner conference at Microsoft. Here you see Stephen Guggenheimer, which is also actually mentioning Awingu as one of the 12 worldwide partnerships. It's nice to see us next to other companies like AT&T and stuff like that. So what about the cost and the pricing? Well, as already explained, we have three possibilities. You can actually buy the reference and become owner. This is the perpetual case. As you can see, it's €168 per year forever as a minimum, with a minimum of 20 users. So one license will cost you €3,360 end user price. You will get a very nice discount from also between 20 and 30%. And if we still have time left, I can guide you through the partner program later on. And you can step up with a number of concurrent users by 5 at a time. Service and support is included in the first year, and customer can decide to renew that maintenance support, and that will cost them €25.5 per user per year. And of course, it's an upfront payment. The reason why we would suggest to renew actually the maintenance and support for the second year is that we are launching almost 3 to 4 versions a year. It's not because the current one is not working fine, but actually we are adding features. So if customers repay their maintenance support, they will be able to upgrade. Another way, a more modern way, I guess, is the yearly subscription model. It's half price for the first year. It's also with a minimum of 20 users and step up of 5. It's a 12-month upfront payment, and actually you rent the solution per year. And of course, maintenance support, as long as you rent it, maintenance support is always included. Third possible way is the also marketplace. Actually, there you can deploy Awingu by month. So it's a little bit more expensive. It's 8.4 end user per concurrent user per month with a minimum of 20. But here we allow a step up of 1. The advantage for you as a reseller is that you actually post pay and you pay for the actual use of Awingu, and you can switch it on and off by month. So that's it, I guess, for we will send you this presentation. You will see there are still a lot of slides going through more technical aspects as a backup. I will not go through them now. Are there any questions so far?
Yes, I can unmute everybody, so you can ask if you want.
Everything was very clear.
Yes, and do you have your contact information?
Yeah, so maybe if I still have another 5 minutes, I will just go very briefly through the partner program.
Yeah, do that.
And how we see it. Just to explain you the difference, why that when I was talking about the 20 and 30% margin, where the difference is coming from. So as we signed up with also for this region as an exclusive distributor, we are actually not looking for 100 resellers per country. So if you look at the Norway market, we are only looking for 9 to 10 partners which are actually heavily breeding Awingu as a solution and are actively selling our solution towards their customers. The selection of partners can happen on a vertical based, so they can be, for instance, that you as a partner, they're very specified in certain public sectors or for vertical sectors like public, or can of course be geographically based, and will of course depend also on the number of already existing customers you have in your funnel. So for there, as we don't have, let's say, a historic business track or history, we invented the Awingu certified partner program, and you can also even become premium certified partner. So I will go through that very fast. I will skip some slides here. So the building blocks of that partner program is actually there are 5 gets and 1 give. We will generate your leads. We have 3 people calling out in your region towards end customers. Those leads are coming in from cold calling. Their leads are coming in from all kinds of databases, of course. Their website trackers, their Google AdWords, all this kind of stuff we are doing. We are really heavy marketing company in that way, and we are qualifying those leads, meaning that we will qualify them technically and commercially and see whether there's an interest for Awingu. And we will give you those leads as with a minimum of 3 qualified per year in case you are a certified partner, and even up to 6 qualified leads in case of a premium certified partnership. You can invoice us some extra marketing funds up to €1,500 and up to €4,500. This is of course based on a plan. If, for instance, you would say as reseller, I'm doing an event and I want you to come over to speak, but it will cost you a participation cost of €1,000. Well, if you sign up for the partnership, we will do that. You will get a margin from also, which is typically 20%, but as a certified, you will also add 5% to that, so we'll up to 25%. In case of a premium certified partnership, it will become 30%, where the last 5% is coming from Awingu end of year. You will get technical support, calculated in days or in hours. It doesn't matter. It can be offline, can be remote, can be even on-prem if you want. In case you become premium certified, you will become also part of the roadmap advisory board. So there you can have actually ask for features. You need to know that we have 30 developers working in Ghent, which are continually working on our solution and adding features. And therefore, we ask you to at least share us a funnel, and this is just an example, but that within 6 months at least, you generate 10K of revenue for us. This is end user revenue. or at least 20K in case of premium certified partnership, which is not really a lot, but this is just our starter pack. So that gives you, for instance, the equivalent of three perpetual licenses or 6 perpetual licenses. If we go to the financial model, just give me some slides here. This actually will be my last one. So here you have the financial model where actually you can see that end user revenue of 10K and the end user revenue of 20K based, for instance, this is just an example, based, for instance, on 6 months. If you deduct your 25% margin here, and you deduct your 30% margin here, and you deduct the 2 marketing funds, you're only talking about a net investment of 6K, and in this case, a net investment of 9.6K. Consider this as a starting pack. Okay, by next year, of course, after that 6 months of, let's say, existing partnership, we will, of course, often talk to you, share the funnel, and, of course, make up a business plan by customer, by reseller. Okay. And of course, you will not get rich by selling Awingu licenses, but as far as we have seen, there's an upsell possibility of a ratio of 1 to 24, and there's a way to sell more infra, professional service, and even device and connectivity and all kinds of stuff when at least you're talking about Awingu. And again, Awingu is, I think, a nice one to come in, not only at IT managers, but certainly you should talk with HR managers, with business process managers, where actually the people on a daily basis who are struggling with VPN connections, who are struggling with working remotely, and to have access to all kinds of systems. So this is not the problem of IT manager. Often this is more the problem of business development, CEO, HR. So the audience, you can also change the audience and come in with Awingu on a different level in the company. So that's it for me, or at least for now. If you want to have more technical information, don't hesitate. We will send you the presentation. We also created 3 specific websites, which is DaaS.com, which is desktop-as-a-service.com. If you want to have more information, like for instance we did with the Bob 50 software, we have isv2saas.com. And here, if you're a Citrix lover, actually here we explain you on this website how to move from Citrix to Awingu in 4 steps, and what are the main differences between, for instance, Citrix and Awingu. And here you also will find what we do on top of the RDS protocol, etc. So there's more information on that one. Our coordinates are here. This is my name, my email address, my phone number. If you want to have more information on the backend, please contact Steven de Winter or get in touch with me, and I will set up a meeting with him. We can do it remotely in the first phase. And here are the coordinates of Olga, which is based in Denmark. She's also available for all your questions. And I will leave this on as last one. So please copy this, and or we anyway will send you the presentation afterwards. So.
Yes, thank you very much, Ralph. I have recorded this webinar, and it will be posted at alsosoftware.no. If you want to share it with your colleagues, you can just go in there and find a recording of the webinar there.